welcome back to ajspeller.com. In today's video, we're going to learn how to figure out what the sign is when multiplying and dividing integers. The easiest way that I've come across to find out what the sign is to use the hashtag or tic-tac-toe board, also called a pound sign. So let's draw in a large pound sign or tic-tac-toe board. All right, once the board is drawn in, you want to place positives along the diagonal. Here I'm going to use blue to signify positives. And in the remaining open spaces, you want to place in your negative signs. So I'm going to use red to signify the negatives. Help us better understand what's going on here. All right, and the way this is used is you would use the board in a winning tic-tac-toe move. So you would use the board either going from left to right, from right to left, or in a diagonal fashion. Now let's look at an example. Let's say we're multiplying the number 2 times a negative 4. So we have a positive times a negative. So we're going to find a positive times a negative, and we see that gives us a negative. Another way of using it would be from top to bottom. A positive times a negative gives us a negative. Or at the top here, from left to right, a positive times a negative gives us a negative. So we see the answer is going to be negative for the sign, and then we just multiply the two integers, 2 times 4, to give us 8. Let's look at another example. Let's say we have two negative numbers. Let's say we have negative 6 times a negative, let's say 5. All right, so we have a negative times a negative to give us a positive if I went from left to right. I could also go from top to bottom, a negative times a negative to give me a positive. I could also use the top row and go from right to left, a negative times a negative to give me a positive. Or I could use this first column going from bottom to top, a negative times a negative gives me a positive. So here I know the answer is going to be positive, so I just multiply the two integers, 6 times 5 to give me 30. And let's do another one where I switch it up a little bit. Let's just do positives. Let's say a positive 8 times a positive 6. Well, a positive times a positive is going to give me a positive. So 8 times 6 is going to give me a positive 48. Now let's throw in a little something extra. Let's say you have three integers that you're trying to multiply. Let's say you've got a negative 2 times a negative 4 times, let's say, a negative 5. So here we're going to do this in stages. We're going to take the negative times a negative. So let's see what that comes out to be. A negative times a negative gives me a positive. So here I'd multiply the 2 times 4 to give me 8, and the 8 has to be positive. And then I'd rewrite the remaining portion, which is the negative 5. So now I'm left with 8, a positive 8 times a negative 5. So a positive times a negative is again going to give me a negative. So I place my negative sign, and then I know that 8 times 5 is 40. So here we see how we can easily use the hashtag or tic-tac-toe symbol to decide what the sign will be when multiplying and dividing integers. And you know what? Let me add in some division. I left out some division, even though it's going to be exactly the same. Let's say we have a negative 10 divided by a positive 5. Well, that's a negative divided by a positive. Well, let's see here. Negative divided by positive gives me a negative. And then I know 10 divided by 5 is 2. So use the same principle with division that you do with multiplication. And again, you'll be able to easily figure out what the sign is for your problems. Thank you again for watching this video by ajspeller.com. Please stay tuned to our YouTube channel and also visit us at ajspeller.com for more tutorials. Thank you again for watching.